Hello, it's Andy and I'm back in the woods. As I keep saying, this is my cutting season. Um, there is definitely something a little bit amiss this year. All the trees are just trying to start to bud. Um, it's probably only weeks left now before this is over, and it should technically be around about end of March really. So I am, really trying to source my material. Not excessively, because as I keep saying, I only need what I need. And but even so, when I do get a day, I do have to come out and source it. I am in some pretty impenetrable, shall we say, undergrowth now. Just searching for the young hazel runners which are pushing for the light, where this particular environment I'm in becomes pretty much impenetrable for human beings unless you're cutting your way through it. And indeed, with the undergrowth and all the thorns and everything else that makes it unpleasant to be in this environment, yeah, it's not a place for human beings. I can see tracks from small deers and small mammals that are pushing through this, but this becomes their environment totally and wholly, in no uncertain terms, as soon as the undergrowth starts pushing through during the spring and summer. So there you go, as I scan round you can clearly see what I'm talking about. This is somewhere really only this time of year offers this opportunity to get into. But as I've just said, this is beginning to change rapidly and fast already. Yeah, looking at this, shall we say, tree, and it's all coming from the same crown that this was obviously coppiced at one point. That's too large. That just goes too thin too quickly. That's just escaped. It's just gone to that point. It's not really hiking stickable. Same as that one, the one behind. These two here, this wouldn't be too bad. But as you can see, there is a dog leg there, and it's not worth me taking that, so that will escape me. And it probably won't be taken because as it grows, I'll probably find better ones. This one has the potential, but yet again, it's just probably 2 or a year too small. This one here, that one's a possible, but there is a lot of kinks in it, and like I said, I'm getting a bit more selective, and the one behind is a bit small. So out of this here, shall we say, lot of runners and trees, they're either too big, too small, or got too many real bends that I can really realistically invest my time in. The only one I would possibly be considering is that one, but it's still at least possibly 2 years away yet. So this tree will escape, and even when I come back in a year or 2 years, there'll only realistically be 1, maybe 2 I'll take, and all the rest will continue to thrive and push to the light. They've either escaped me as they're too heavy, or they've got too many kinks. So as you can see, I don't really cause too much of a heavy hand on the environment by what I'm doing, and it will always push forward and produce new runners from where I've taken anyway. Right, you can clearly see where I am and where I've got to get through, and I've got to push through all this because I'm looking to get over there where I can see possibly 2 or 3 sticks I can take from there, but I have to push my way through all this, and it is no easy feat. And on top of that, it's pretty boggy here, so you can see that things become difficult. Like I say, that's boggy there, and I'm having to push through quite heavily here now. Watching my eyes are critical when you're doing this. Right, now I've got through, I can see this tree here is offering me possibly 3 sticks. I can see that one, and that one over there. And then I'll leave this tree go. Obviously, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good size ones, well, trees, limbs shall I say, which are in the 4 to 6 inch range, so they've obviously escaped anything that I can do with them. Sadly, we have a lot of deer damage here. This bit of the tree is still trying to live, but I should imagine that this branch will actually succumb and become rotted and die. Pretty much like this one here, which is falling down at some point, which is rotted. So I'm going to take these runners here and then move on to my next location. Right, I can identify I've got 2 good sticks here, as I showed you, and there's a little kink in that one, but that's not too drastic. That's going to add a little bit of, shall we say, of difference to this sticks. So I'm just going to cut these 2 at the moment. So I'll start here, right at the bottom. Put a lot of effort and energy into that. Right, I've got 5 pieces here, and good quality pieces. I haven't just cut for the sake of cutting. They're all reasonably straight to start with. They will probably bend slightly due to the drying process. I have one here which has a gentle curve in, but that's going to be really easy to straighten out. And these are good quality pieces. I'm going to write H on the end to cover the species, which is hazel, because as I've mentioned in previous videos, as wood and bark dries out, you can misclassify wood if you don't have some means to identify it. So yeah, so I'm going to just get this away, and then I'm going to do something which I am really desperate to do. I'm down in the woodshed. What I want to do is take my boots off. I have literally thorns and brambles in my boots. They're stabbing my toes, ankles and feet. I've just brushed a load of very fine prickles off myself that were stabbing. I dare say I'm pretty scratched underneath there, and it's going to sting when I get in a bath. But my boots, I say, I'll put pressure on my little toe. It is literally full of there you see loads of stuff coming out there. I'm put my hand, run my hand inside there. Now there's some I'm going to have to actually find a means to brush out. I can feel a load in my socks. I'm going to have to do this indoors, I think. Yeah, this isn't going to be a quick job. Yeah, you can see I was more selective there, and even to the extent of having to push through some really dense, impenetrable undergrowth. That soon won't be an option unless you're going to start hacking and cutting, and then all you're doing is, shall I say, degrading the environment. So there's no need for it, and by that point you wouldn't be cutting anyway. Because obviously you'd be moving into bird nesting season when it starts to get that thick and heavy, and you can't cut, and you wouldn't cut because of sap rising within the wood itself. But I do have a little carry system for my saw, which the observant of you will realise that's a leftover from a combat vest, and nobody wears combat vests now in the former occupation I did, and nobody, shall we say, unless you're a paintballer or an activity like that, would even consider it a thing to keep. I've been cutting mine up full of pouches and making carry systems from it, and I'll just quickly show you what I've done to make my carry system for my saw, phone and small flask. So there it is. It attaches to my belt. It usually goes through both ends. It is a pouch that I've cut off. I have a compartment here which my phone will go in. My saw will fit completely in there, because obviously, as I've explained, that is now a fixed blade saw due to a breakage, and I have room to get a flask in there, and I can do this one up to give me more support through my belt loop. At the minute I've just got it on one, and with minimal weight it serves me fine, and it's at the right height. I can then, shall we say, just roll my jacket down over, so it causes no alarm if I do actually happen to be out going for a walk. It's all hidden away, and it's quite ergonomic. Right, I'll just drop this phone down with the camera so you can actually see that it flows in with the jacket, and it becomes non-invasive and intrusive to the eye when I'm out walking. So yeah, you can clearly see it just flows in and matches with it. That is good for my phone, flask, and a couple chocky bars, and possibly a grandfather's pocket knife if I'm out going for a hike. If I'm going cutting, it'll be just my phone, flask, and my saw. So yeah, it's a good little carry system I've made. Make, do and mend is the philosophy, and you know, it was only going to the waste, or it was being wasted, shall I say, not doing anything, that combat vest system, and I've made several little carry systems out of all the pouches and pockets. So yeah, make, do and mend if you can. That's always my philosophy. So I'm going to leave this video here. This is Andy, so take care, and I hope to see you again.